Well, ladies and gentlemen, the NFL has officially hit DEFCON 1. The unthinkable has happened. Football, America's game, the billion-dollar machine that usually steamrolls over scandals, lockouts, injuries, and controversies, is suddenly wobbling like a house of cards. And the reason? One man, one decision, one rookie quarterback who isn't even on the field. Shedeur Sanders. Yes, you heard that right. Shedeur Sanders, the son of football royalty. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. The generational talent who was supposed to electrify Cleveland and bring a whole new audience into the NFL has been benched. Not injured, not suspended, just benched, left to rot on the sidelines while the Browns stumble, fumble, and crumble. And the fallout? Let's just say it's not just a ripple. It's a tidal wave that's shaking the very foundations of the league. Let's paint the picture. You turn on your TV for a preseason game, the Browns versus the Eagles. You'd expect millions to be watching, right? NFL games are supposed to be untouchable in the ratings game, even when nothing's on the line. But instead of 4.5 million viewers, the kind of numbers that would usually roll in, the broadcast barely cracks 217,000. That's not a typo. That's not even a rounding error. That's a 95% drop. Preseason or not, that's catastrophic. That's not just fans saying, I'll skip this one. That's fans saying, I'm done. And it's not just TV ratings. Stadiums are half empty. The diehards aren't showing up. The tailgates are shrinking. Concession stands are going dry. When you walk into First Energy Stadium, it doesn't feel like the home of a passionate NFL fan base anymore. It feels like a ghost town. This isn't a blip on the radar. This is abandonment. Fans aren't protesting. They're walking away entirely. And why? Because the Browns decided that their shiny new rookie quarterback, the guy everyone wanted to see, the guy who had hype pouring in from Colorado to Cleveland to across the globe, isn't ready. They stuck with the same tired excuses, the same rigid old-school philosophies, while the fans screamed for Shedeur. And now, the NFL is paying the price for that arrogance. This isn't just about one team. It's spiraling out of control. League partners are panicking. Sponsors are pulling out. Local businesses are seeing their revenues plummet. The NFL is bleeding money at every corner. Just in partnerships alone, the league is down nearly $50 million. And that's just the beginning. Restaurants, hotels, merchandise shops, all of them are feeling the collapse. Cities live and breathe with NFL revenue, and right now Cleveland is suffocating. And it's not just economic, it's cultural. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just another rookie. He was supposed to be the guy, the bridge to a younger audience. The reason diverse fans, international fans, TikTok teens who normally wouldn't care about football were suddenly glued to the NFL. He wasn't just throwing passes. He was throwing lifelines to an entire new generation of football fans. His presence was supposed to symbolize the NFL's future. And now, benched and silenced, he's become the symbol of everything wrong with how the league clings to its outdated power structures. Fans aren't dumb. They know this isn't about development. They know it's not about defensive matchups. They see a coaching staff too stubborn, too prideful, too stuck in the past to embrace the reality of modern sports. Today's game isn't just about winning on the field. It's about winning hearts, minds, and eyeballs. It's about the spectacle. It's about giving the people what they came for. And in 2025, the people came for Shedeur Sanders. But instead of capitalizing on that, the Browns have dug in their heels. And the result? Players are frustrated. Locker room morale is crumbling. Veterans are questioning the coaches. Younger players are openly saying what fans already believe. This makes no sense. The Browns aren't just dysfunctional, they're imploding. And let's not forget Jerry Jones. Yes, Jerry Jones, the man who practically is the NFL, had to personally intervene. That's how bad it's gotten. The Cowboys owner, arguably the most powerful figure in football outside of Roger Goodell, picked up the phone and warned Cleveland's ownership that if this circus continues, there will be consequences. Think about that. One team's refusal to play their rookie has the entire league's billion-dollar empire shaking in its boots. Jones even floated ideas, unprecedented measures, to get Sanders into Dallas or another franchise just to stop the bleeding. Because Jerry knows something the Browns apparently don't. If Shedeur Sanders doesn't play, the NFL doesn't just lose games. It loses its soul. The international angle makes this even scarier for the league. The NFL has been desperate for global expansion. London games, Mexico City games, pushing into Europe and even Asia. And you know what was helping? Stars like Shedeur. He had charisma. He had hype. He had the kind of cultural pull that made people who don't even understand football tune in just to see him. Without him, international ratings have cratered. Merchandise sales overseas, down the drain. The NFL's carefully built global dream, teetering on collapse because one franchise refuses to put their brightest star on the field. And here's the part that's truly wild. This whole fiasco has revealed just how much power fans really have. Traditionally, fans would gripe, complain, maybe boycott a game here and there. But this is different. This is fans walking away en masse, turning off the TVs, refusing to buy tickets, canceling subscriptions. It's not noise, it's silence. And silence is far deadlier. Silence means no revenue. Silence means no sponsors. Silence means the league suddenly has no leverage. This isn't just a protest, it's a paradigm shift. Fans are proving they hold the cards now. If they don't get what they want, they'll leave. And in a market flooded with entertainment options, from NBA highlights to international soccer to streaming services, fans don't need the NFL anymore. The NFL needs them. And that's what makes this situation terrifying for league officials. Because this isn't just about Shedeur Sanders. This is about the entire business model of professional football. The NFL has always prided itself on being bigger than any one player. But this crisis proves otherwise. It proves that in today's world, one player can be bigger than the league. One player can hold the keys to ratings, ticket sales, merchandise, and international expansion. One player can tilt the balance of power. And that player is Shedeur Sanders. The Browns' refusal to play him isn't just a bad football decision. It's a catastrophic business decision. It's organizational malpractice. It's the kind of short-sighted arrogance that could haunt this franchise for decades. Because let's be honest, if you're a young, talented player looking at the Browns right now, why would you ever want to go there? Why would you trust a franchise that can't even recognize when they have a generational talent sitting on the bench? And the players already on the roster? They're watching, too. They're frustrated, angry, questioning their leadership. The psychological toll of this decision goes far beyond Shedeur himself. It eats away at everyone in the building, creating an atmosphere of distrust and dysfunction that no amount of motivational speeches can fix. This crisis has become bigger than football. It's economic, it's cultural, it's psychological, it's global. It's not just about Shedeur Sanders being benched. It's about what his absence represents. A league that's out of touch with its fans. A team that's paralyzed by pride. A sport that suddenly looks fragile when it's supposed to be invincible. The Browns think they're making a coaching decision. What they don't realize is that they're playing with the very survival of the NFL. And if they don't change course soon, if Shedeur Sanders doesn't get on that field, the fallout won't stop at Cleveland. It'll spread to every franchise, every sponsor, every TV partner. The NFL was supposed to be untouchable. But right now, it's bleeding out in broad daylight. And all because one team can't see what the rest of the world already knows. Shedeur Sanders is a game. So what do you think? Are the Browns committing the biggest self-destruction in NFL history? Is Shedeur Sanders the key to saving football? Or is this the beginning of the league's long, slow decline? One thing's certain. The fans have spoken. They've turned off their TVs, walked out of stadiums, and left the NFL with a terrifying truth. Without Shedeur Sanders, there may not be a future. You know how the NFL loves to market itself as bigger than any one player? Well, that illusion just went up in smoke. Because here we are, watching the most powerful sports league in America unravel in real time, not because of a lockout, not because of an officiating scandal, not even because of some off-field mess, but because one kid, a rookie, isn't being allowed to play. Think about how insane that is. This is the NFL. This is the same league that survived concussion lawsuits. Domestic violence scandals, anthem protests, even a pandemic. They've taken hits before, but they've always bounced back. And yet this? A coaching staff's stubborn refusal to play Shedeur Sanders has triggered the kind of fan rebellion that no one saw coming, and that no one seems to know how to stop. Let's start with the numbers again, because those are what make this whole thing feel apocalyptic. A preseason game, normally a casual ratings juggernaut, drawing millions of viewers, instead collapses to just over 200,000 people. That's not just bad, that's laughable. That's minor league baseball levels of viewership. That's worse than reruns of cooking shows. The NFL, the almighty NFL, being trounced by reruns. And in the stands, whole sections empty. The famous dog pound in Cleveland, once a rowdy wall of diehard fans, now looks like a poorly attended high school scrimmage. You can feel the despair trickling all the way down the food chain. Local bars and restaurants that usually bank on game day traffic, they're empty. Hotels? Empty. Merch sales? Tanking. This isn't just a football problem. It's an economic bloodbath. We're talking about millions lost in a matter of weeks. The kind of collapse that makes sponsors panic and broadcasters pick up the phone demanding answers. And yet the Browns? Business as usual. Coaches standing at the podium, spouting the same tired cliches about development and matchups. Ownership sticking to their line about trusting the process. It would almost be funny if it wasn't so destructive, because let's be honest, this isn't about football strategy. This is about pride. This is about an organization too stubborn to admit they made a catastrophic mistake, even as the entire league burns around them. And make no mistake, the rest of the league is fuming. Jerry Jones didn't insert himself into this mess because he's a Shedeur Sanders fanboy. He did it because he understands what's at stake. He understands that when one franchise poisons a well, the entire league suffers. When fans walk away, they don't just walk away from Cleveland. They walk away from football. And the NFL, for all its power, can't afford to lose a generation of fans to boredom and betrayal. And betrayal is exactly what this feels like. Fans aren't just disappointed. They're enraged. They were promised the dawn of something new. They were told Shedeur Sanders was the future, the quarterback who would bring style, swagger, and energy back to a sport that's been teetering on the edge of becoming stale. Instead, they've been handed recycled mediocrity, the same tired playbook, and a refusal to give them the one thing they actually want. No wonder they've turned off their TVs. And the silence is deafening. Fans could have rioted. They could have stormed practice facilities, flooded social media with hashtags, plastered protests outside the stadium. But no, they did something worse. They stopped watching. They stopped caring. And that's the nightmare scenario for the NFL, because outrage still sells. Outrage still keeps eyeballs glued to the screen. But apathy? That's death. Now, let's talk about Shedeur himself, because the irony here is that this isn't even about his talent anymore. We already know he's good. We already know he has the tools, the poise, the swagger to succeed. The numbers he put up in college, the way he carried himself under his father Deion's spotlight. It all screamed franchise quarterback. This isn't some project. This isn't some kid who needs 3 years of grooming before he's ready. He's ready now. And everyone knows it, except the Browns. So what does that do to him? Imagine being Shedeur Sanders right now. You've got the talent, the hype, the world's attention, and you're chained to the bench because your coaches are too afraid or too prideful to let you shine. That kind of frustration eats at a player. It festers. And if the Browns think he's going to sit quietly while the world begs for him, they're delusional. And don't forget his teammates. Locker rooms are fragile ecosystems. When players see management sabotaging their own team, when they watch a star sitting idle while they suffer loss after loss, trust breaks. Guys start whispering. They start questioning leadership. And once you lose the locker room, good luck getting it back. Here's where this gets even darker. The international angle. The NFL has been desperate to go global. They've poured millions into games in London, into Mexico City, into building markets in Germany and beyond. And you know what was working? Players like Shedeur, young, charismatic, culturally relevant players who could pull in new fans who'd never touched a football in their lives. But with Shedeur benched, international ratings nosedived. Merchandise sales evaporated. The NFL's global push is suddenly looking less like a triumph and more like a failed experiment. Soccer, basketball, even Formula One are happily scooping up the fan the NFL just drove away. And here's the ultimate irony. The NFL, for decades, treated fans like they were disposable. They raised ticket prices. They reshuffled schedules. They moved teams across states. They assumed fans would always come crawling back because, hey, it's football. It's America's game. But this Shedeur Sanders crisis just proved them wrong. Fans aren't crawling back. They've discovered their power. They've realized that if they leave, the NFL can't function. And they're flexing that power in the most brutal way possible by starving the league of attention. This is a paradigm shift. This is the beginning of a new era where fans, not owners, dictate the direction of sports. And if the NFL doesn't wake up, it won't just lose Shedeur Sanders. It'll lose an entire generation. We're not just watching a team in crisis. We're watching a league in crisis, a sport in crisis. And unless someone in Cleveland wakes up, the Shedeur Sanders debacle could go down as the moment the NFL finally discovered it wasn't bulletproof after all. If you thought the Shedeur Sanders saga had already hit rock bottom, oh no, we're still falling, and the hole the NFL has dug itself just keeps getting deeper. What started as one bad coaching call has spiraled into a crisis so massive. It's not just about football anymore. It's about the survival of an empire. And the craziest part? The Browns don't even seem to realize they're the ones holding the detonator. Let's rewind for a second. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie quarterback. He's not some mid-round draft pick the fans hoped might pan out. He was a golden ticket, the prodigy, the kid who carried all the charisma of his father, Dion, and all the talent of a generational player. He was a spark plug meant to ignite not just the Browns, but the entire league. A symbol of the NFL's future. Diverse, magnetic, relevant to young fans who don't even watch TV anymore, but would stream highlights of Shedeur just to be part of the moment. And what did the Browns do with this once-in-a-lifetime gift? They buried him. Sat him on the bench while journeyman quarterbacks stumbled through games, while fans begged for Shedeur, while stadiums emptied and TVs flicked off across America. Let me put it this way. The Browns didn't just bench a rookie. They benched the NFL's future. And that decision has triggered a chain reaction that's threatening to topple the entire league's dominance. Look around. The numbers are jaw-dropping. TV ratings? In free fall. From millions of eyeballs glued to the screen one week, to barely cracking a couple 100,000 the next. Stadiums? Half empty, echoing with boos or worse, silence. Merchandise? Gathering dust on store shelves. Local economies, the mom-and-pop shops, the hotels, the bars, all reporting losses in the tens of millions because game day just doesn't mean what it used to. The NFL, the league that once printed money every Sunday, is bleeding, and yet the Browns act like nothing's wrong. Coaches puffing their chests at press conferences, talking about long-term development and protecting Sanders. Owners mumbling about patience. Patience. Tell that to the families who counted on game day crowds to keep their businesses afloat. Tell that to sponsors who dropped $40, $50 million on partnerships only to watch the audience evaporate overnight. Tell that to the fans who spent years waiting for a franchise savior, only to be told, maybe later. This isn't patience, it's arrogance, and it's killing the sport. What makes this whole debacle even crazier is how united everyone else is in their fury. You got fans staging boycotts, not just skipping games, but turning off the NFL entirely. You've got media pundits who normally can't agree on whether the sky is blue, all screaming in unison. Play Shedeur Sanders. You got players in the locker room whispering frustrations, some even hinting publicly that they've lost faith in the coaching staff. And now Jerry Jones, yes, the man who practically is the NFL, calling up the Browns and basically saying, fix this or we will. When Jerry Jones has to step in, you know the situation isn't just bad, it's apocalyptic. He doesn't care about Cleveland. He cares about the Shield. He cares about protecting the brand of the NFL. And he knows that right now, the brand is toxic. Because every headline isn't about thrilling plays or playoff races. It's about one team sabotaging the league's brightest star and fans abandoning the sport in droves. And here's the kicker. This isn't just an American problem anymore. International audiences, the ones the NFL has been desperately courting with London and Germany games, are vanishing too. They were tuning in for Shedeur, for the story, for the spectacle. Without him, they're gone. Soccer, basketball, even Formula One. Other sports are happily scooping them up. The NFL want to go global, and now, thanks to the Browns, they've face-planted on the international stage. What's happening here is bigger than football. This is a cultural moment. Fans have discovered their power, and they're wielding it in ways the league never imagined. For decades, the NFL treated fans like background noise. Raise ticket prices, they'll pay. Move franchises, they'll adjust. Shuffle kickoff times, they'll complain, but still show up. But now, fans aren't complaining. They're leaving. They're turning off the TVs, canceling subscriptions, walking away without a glance back. And that silence, that's scarier than boos. Because boos mean you still care. Silence means you've moved on. The Browns thought they were making a football decision, but what they've actually done is spark a revolution, a shift in the balance of power. For the first time, it's not the coaches or the owners dictating the game. It's the fans. And those fans have made it crystal clear. If Shedeur Sanders isn't playing, they're not watching. Period. Now, let's talk about the human element, because we can't forget that Shedeur Sanders is still a person in the middle of the circus. Imagine being him. All that talent, all that hype, all those expectations, and you're forced to sit there while the world begs for you. That kind of frustration, it's volcanic. And it doesn't just hurt him. It hurts the locker room. Teammates see it. They feel it. They're forced to grind through losses while the one guy who could save them is shackled on the sidelines. How long before that resentment boils over? How long before veterans start demanding trades? How long before Shedeur himself decides he's done playing nice and forces the issue? Because let's be real, he has leverage. More leverage than any rookie quarterback has ever had. If he wanted to, he could blow this whole thing wide open. One tweet, one interview, one subtle jab, and the internet would detonate. And at that point, the Browns wouldn't just be fighting fan apathy. They'd be fighting an all-out rebellion. The question is, what's the end game here? Does Cleveland keep digging in, clinging to pride while their fan base evaporates, and the league itself takes collateral damage? Or do they swallow their egos, put Shedeur on the field, and pray it's not too late to salvage what's left? Because make no mistake, it is getting close to being too late. Fans are fickle. Once you lose them, getting them back is like trying to refill a broken dam. And right now, the cracks are everywhere. The NFL has always been untouchable, bulletproof, the king of American sports. But this is the first time in decades it feels vulnerable, fragile, mortal, and all because one team couldn't see what everyone else already knows. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's the heartbeat of a generation. So here's the harsh truth. This isn't just about whether the Browns win or lose. It's about whether the NFL itself can survive this meltdown intact. The fans have drawn their line in the sand. The league is bleeding money, credibility, and cultural relevance. And unless Shedeur Sanders is under center, soon, this may go down as the moment football stopped being America's untouchable pastime and started becoming just another fading empire.